Did you know Microsoft has officially ended support for Windows 10? Upgrade to Windows 11 with an LG Gram laptop. Voted PC Mag's Reader's Choice Top Laptop Brand for 2025. Thin and ultra lightweight, the LG Gram keeps you productive anywhere. And Windows 11 gives you access to free security updates and ongoing feature upgrades. Visit lgusa.com/iHeart for great seasonal savings on LG Gram laptops with Windows 11. PC Mag Reader's Choice used with permission. All rights reserved.
It's important that, yes, you bring comfort, stability, and everything. The analogy or the imagery I often use is like a front door, back door. We have all this eroticism, sexuality, and connectedness in the house. And then let's get married and have kids. And that all gets kind of shoved out the back door because we have to make room for safety, security, stability. And there goes the eroticism, sexuality, and everything else. It's always this dance of back and forth to keep it in there. What most people do is what I've seen is just throw out the eroticism, sexuality, and all that stuff out the back door. Lock the door and forget about it.
Welcome to the Bomb Life Podcast, where fitness, mindset, and real talk collide. This isn't just about workouts. It's about transforming your body, mind, and life. Get ready for unfiltered conversations, expert advice, and the motivation you need to level up in every way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bomb Life Podcast. I am Melissa Vogel, your host. Welcome to the show. If you are brand new, I'm so excited that you found me. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back. You guys, it's 2026. Holy crap. Like seriously, say that out loud. 2026, it just seems like a year that we would say as a kid, it'd be like space age and we'd be like flying around in cars, you know, like 2026. Holy shit. I hope everyone had a really good new year. I'm not going to hit you with the whole new year, new you bullshit or this, what's your New Year's resolution? No, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to dive into that and like play that game anymore. But I am going to talk about, and just briefly, real briefly, because we got to get into this episode because it is so good and it all falls into this too. But I am going to talk about how you don't want to repeat things that you said you were going to do and then didn't do. I don't want this to be another year that you lie to yourself. And I really want you to think about that. I did a whole live in my group one year about lying to yourself and how we would never lie to our children or our significant other the way that we lie to ourselves. I mean, imagine telling your kid, you know, oh, we're going to go to the park. We're going to go to the park. Okay. Oh, not today. Hey, I'm going to get you this. I'm going to get you this. Or we're going to do this. Oh, not today. And we didn't do it. Over time, that child, or if you kept telling your partner you'd do something, over time, they would never believe you. I mean, really think about that. Think about if you just chronically said, we're going to do this and you don't, we're going to go and then you don't, over and over. And they're like, she's full of shit and we're going to believe you. That is the same thing that's happening with your body and your mind. Every time you're like, this is the year that I'm going to get in shape. And then you don't. I'm really going to make changes now. And then you don't. No, I'm going to lose that 10 pounds this year. I'm going to call Melissa. I'm going to book a call with her. I'm really going to do it. And then you don't. Eventually your body and your mind stop believing in each other and they start not working together. And that's a problem because we need that relationship to be strong. And I want you to think about it. Think of it as lying. How many times do you tell yourself, I'm going to start paying attention to my macros. I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to stop putting off my lunch break and I'm going to stop, eating through lunch, not taking care of my body. Yeah, I'm going to do that next week. I'm going to start hydrating more. And then you don't do it. All those, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. 1,000 paper cuts all over. And that's what ends up killing you. That's what's going to happen with all these lies. And your body's not going to believe you. And that relationship is so important. So starting off, this being our first episode of 2026, I want you to think about all the things that you have said that you were going to do and then you didn't when it comes to your health and fitness. Like, what do you really need to start tweaking and fixing? And are you willing to dedicate, let's just say 1 month to creating change, 1 month to just doing something different and really giving it your all, and then see what happens in the second month. Let's not even do like, oh, my whole New Year's resolution for the whole year. Let's just start with 1 month at a time. What do you need to do to become a better version of you, a better partner, a healthier you, a stronger you? And then think about it. And remember, you guys, you don't have to do this alone. You don't. Book a call. Get on the phone with me. Let me help you guide you into the right direction, and then we'll go from there. And if you have been listening to me for a while and you know that I do one-on-one coaching, or you know that I have a group program that you get in and be a part of and really start creating change, and you keep putting that off, it's time. It's time. Let's create some change together. This is the year of change. This is the year of letting go what didn't serve you before and truly creating the change that's going to impact you and change you for the rest of your life. And today's guest just agrees with me even more. And today's guest is diving into topics that absolutely affect and impact your overall health and fitness journey, 1000%. We're talking about relationships today, but we're also really focusing on men and masculinity, because women, we need to understand this. We need to have knowledge around this. And men, you need to hear this and hear this message and have knowledge and understanding over it. Today, we have Ralph Brewer on. He is a podcaster, a speaker. He is a coach. He's the founder of Help for Men and Dad Starting Over. He's an author, just incredible. And I really want you to think about this. Is your relationship failing? Or men, are you failing to lead it? Ralph Brewer is the best-selling author of The Dead Bedroom Fix and founder of Help for Men, a global coaching program for men stuck in relationship limbo. From dead bedrooms to divorce, Ralph helps men stop pleasing, start leading, and finally fix what's broken from the inside out. Sound familiar? His work has changed the lives of thousands, and today he's here to share what men really need to hear. Ralph, so excited to have you on the show. You guys, we're talking about masculinity and how it's not toxic. We're talking about starting over. There's so many amazing topics that we're hitting today that you guys, you're going to be blown away by. And yeah, sex and dating and divorce and changes that can be made. It's all brought up today too. And this is the perfect time of year to hear this message. That's why I really wanted to get this out in the very beginning of the year so you guys can take action. So this is one of the episodes where you are going to want to listen. You're going to want to pay attention and then go to the show notes after. All right, everyone, enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bomb Life podcast. Today we have Ralph Brewer on. Welcome to the show, Ralph.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You have quite the resume. Podcaster, author, coach. Like, what are your other titles? Like, what do you call yourself when people are like, what do you do, Ralph?
My little elevator speech is I am an author, speaker, and the founder of Help for Men and the private support community that we call the Help for Men Brotherhood.
I love your elevator pitch.
Very quick and dirty.
This is going to be a good episode. You guys, I was telling Ralph before we started how many male listeners we have now, and we switched. Everyone who listens knows we used to be the Bomb Mom podcast. Now we're the Bomb Life podcast, because we had so many men tuning in, because we cover everything. And I'm like, this really isn't just for moms at all. And we cover everything from marriage, sex, relationship, dating, health, nutrition, workouts, mindset, like you name it. And that's why we are like the bomb life. How do you live your bomb life? And guys that are listening, they're tuning in because they want to do better. They want to be better. They want to look better. They want better relationships. They want to understand women better. They want to understand themselves better. And when I got introduced to have you on, I was like reading over your, they gave us like a one sheet on you and everything. I'm like, oh, yes. And then I read the title of your book, The Dead Bedroom Fix. I was like, how fast can we get him on?
Oh boy.
How fast can we get him on? Because you're all about like helping men. Dad starting over is like your thing. Like that is your, I don't know, what would you call it? Like your
my social media brand. It's but before,
brand,
when I started doing everything, this all started with a blog years ago, and I just happened to find the domain of dadstartingover.com. And I ran with that, and that became my little social media name, blog name, or whatever. Doing that for years. And then we started this larger organization called Help for Men a couple of years ago.
Okay. All right. I love it. And I got to say, Ralph, before I start really asking you about your past, because I'm so curious about how you got into this and how this became like your thing. Like,
it's quite the story, let me tell you.
Oh, I can't wait. So I'm realizing how much there really isn't a whole lot of help for men. That men are out there like really struggling. And that was one of the things when I saw to have you on, I was like, yes, these conversations right here that I know we're going to dive into today, this is what men need to hear.
Yes, ma'am. Let's get into it.
It's sad. It breaks my heart. But okay, I'm like extremely curious now. Like, what is your past? Like, how did Ralph become like the guru of dad starting over?
Prepare yourself.
Okay.
So about 14 years ago, picture it. Here's me, schlubby, bald dad on the beach with my 3 little kids and my wife. I had a 1.5-year-old, a boy who just turned 6, and a girl who just turned 9 years of age. So 3 little kids. So I'm in Florida. I take a break from everything, and I'm in the condo in Florida, and I get on the old laptop and I start scrolling. And to make a very long and painful story short, I'm skipping a lot of stuff here. I discovered that my then wife was having an extramarital affair. And it just, I saw enough that made me say, something's going on here. What is this? And when I confronted her with it, again, long story short, the answer was, I want a divorce. And literally 60 days after that, we were done. The Kentucky laws said all you need is a 60-day waiting period and you're divorced.
Even
that was
with
it.
Kids?
Oh, that was it. 60 days and I was done. I was no longer. So I went from here I am on the beach. I'm this happy, schlubby dad who has everything figured out. I'm a husband. I'm a dad. And then 60 days later, no, you're not. Actually, that day, everything's ended that day.
Yeah.
And so, but 60 days later, legally, I wasn't no longer a husband. So that made me question everything. My identity. Who am I? You know, when you lose your job, so to speak, of husband, and now I'm a quote part-time father, although I ended up with the kids most of the time. It just called into question everything in life. How did I get here? What caused me to get to this point in my life? Because I had something to do with this. I'm not some, perfect innocent angel and all this. At the very least, there's something to be learned for why I picked a person like this and endured so much over the years. And I started blogging on the matter. I started writing, and I did that for years. And it wasn't until I spoke about or wrote about sex and marriage, my thoughts on sex and marriage and my experiences after the divorce and dating and finding a new girlfriend, that got a lot of attention from guys because sex is like the number one topic. Sex sells. So anytime you write about that, you get attention. And that brought a lot of guys to my world. So much so that somebody suggested I write a book on the subject. So I did. And that actually took off. And it was called The Dead Bedroom Fix. You mentioned it. That's my first book, first of 5. And by far my most popular one out of all the ones books I've written. And so that got hundreds of thousands of people to read my stuff, men. It's a book for men. And that allowed me to then break out and start doing content online, videos, created the organization for men. We have a community for men helping other men going through divorce, the dead bedroom thing, starting over after divorce, guys who just have relationship trouble, period. And I've been very blessed to do what I do. I love it.
I have so many questions.
Oh, yes.
How long were you married for?
Going on 15 years. It was just short of 15 years.
Oh, so you guys were married for a while before you had kids? Because didn't you say your oldest was 9 at the time?
Yeah. It was like 8 years or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that makes me pause because a lot of people I know.
Oh, it's not true. 6 years. 6 years we were married. Yeah, I'm trying to do the math in my head. As soon as you get math, my brain goes, yeah.
I know. Then after years pass, you're like,
I'm like, wait, that's not right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You didn't get married and then have babies or was pregnant.
No. We waited a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And usually like when I hear stories of like this and you go back, they were either pregnant and then got married or got married and pregnant right away. And there was just, and whatever that leads to other things. And didn't have that alone time. So that surprises me. What I'm curious, and I'm trying to play like devil's advocate and like think of like the listener.
Please. Yeah.
Okay. So what made you start looking? How did you even go down the rabbit hole? What made you think?
I would love to say that there was something that made me investigate. Total happenstance. She left herself logged into Facebook.
No shit.
And then there was a little indicator of there's a message in Facebook. And I clicked on, I'm like, oh, I'm in my wife's Facebook. And there was the conversation.
No. Okay. This happens a lot. This happens very often on both ways, both sides.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
And I find it interesting. I just love hearing the male's perspective when this happens because I know a lot of men who were in this position. They were in a relationship, had kids. They thought things were great and literally kind of got blindsided. Looking back, were there signs of this that you felt like you missed? And you're like, this makes sense now. Yeah.
My relationship was very much illustrative of a lot of the guys that I talked to. It's funny, by my material that I put out there, I attract a certain type of individual to me. And when you know it, they're just like me. And there's marriages, I'm like, well, that sounds familiar. And I've heard it, literally hundreds of times in one-on-one talks with guys. And how I categorize it is my ex was what you call a very avoidant person. And there's this whole what's called attachment theory in psychology. I'm not a psychologist, but based upon how we were raised as kids and our attachment to our parents determines how we attach to our romantic partners. And so most avoidants are men. So most avoidants are the guys who are saying like, no, honey, I don't want to have long drawn out talks. Just leave me alone. Let me do my thing. Yeah. I'm going to go escape to the garage. I'm going to go escape, go fishing. Leave me alone. I value my independence over everything else. That's typically a dude when it comes to avoidance and attachment. But a lot of us are married to women like that. And conversely, a lot of us are very anxious in our attachment. We're preoccupied with the relationship and the health of the relationship. So we're the type of guys that are like, looking at her wife's going, you look upset, what's wrong? And she's like, leave me alone. It's enough. Please stop always asking what's wrong. I'm just sitting here. Like, you said this the other day. What did you mean by that? What? I didn't mean anything by that. Like, you texted me funny the other day. That guy's very anxious about the relationship and he wants a lot of reassurance. Like, please tell me that everything's okay again and again. That was me. And that seems to be the category, probably like 90% of our membership in our group are anxious guys that are coming out of or still in relationships with avoidant women. And that was me. And in hindsight, hindsight's 2020. I'm looking back in the relationship. I'm like, the signs were there literally from day one. And by the way, none of this makes her a bad person. It's just that's how she's wired.
Right.
And that's how I was wired. We both had stuff to work on to become what's called more secure. Mm-hmm. And it always surprises people that are men and women both that are in relationships with avoidant people. It seems that an affair would be completely out of left field. Like, why are they hungering for some kind of attention and affection outside of the relationship if they are avoidant in nature? And how it's explained is that people that are avoidant become very distant when things get real, when things get secure and safe and, quote, boring. They need that initial excitement, that honeymoon stage of the relationship to keep them going. And when that's gone, they're just done. They just shut down, which explains in some circumstances how we have some guys that are like, all women just shut down sexuality as soon as they say, I do. It's like, no, some avoidant women, once things get safe and secure, are just like, I just don't feel it much anymore. I just don't feel the oomph, the spark anymore. And that's why it, quote, takes work for a lot of people to keep that spark going and keep the sexuality alive in a long-term monogamous relationship. I didn't have any of these tools going through this relationship, so it just deteriorated. And then you have natural resentments. You just get tired of each other. She mess up, I mess up, do whatever, and we're not perfect. And then it just built and built into this perfect storm. And as an aside, she is very into fitness, much like yourself. And she started to get into, it's not CrossFit, but there's a lot of gyms, garage style gyms, where you do like stations. And she got into that world. And that opened her up to a whole new social group and everything, and a whole new worldview and everything else. And I wasn't part of that. And so she very much started growing and becoming even more independent. And as an avoidant person, that's not necessarily the greatest thing for a relationship. And she drifted and started, life 2.0 for her. And unfortunately, I wasn't a part of it.
Interesting. And you said something, you were talking about like, we both had a lot of work to do. And that it just reminded me of like how many people get married. And because, you didn't have these tools then, when I started my journey and back when I was married and stuff, like I didn't have the tools and knowledge of like what I'm doing now. And that's why, again, I'm so glad that you and I are having this conversation because this will help people now. Like you have resources and tools and you can listen to this episode. We're taking away excuses. We're giving you things so you can hear it now and then prevent a divorce, and prevent things going downhill. But I find it so interesting how many people are just broken when they first meet and then they get married and then they're seeking that same thing that they got from their parents, in a relationship, and it like just keeps going. And for my kids, I do not want that to happen. I want them to be happy and whole and complete and know that before they find their partner. So they're not going into a relationship broken and they're broken and they come together and they make this broken relationship. And then they think it's just going to be great after you have kids. And oh my God, I'm sweating.
You're speaking my language, sister. I say this stuff all the time. There are some trends in marriage and in the old baby making rate. Both are going down. So people aren't getting married and making babies nearly as much. And there are a lot of people, especially more conservative people, who say like, this is the next fall of Rome. We need people to be making more babies. We need married life is the foundation of our society. And people like me and therapists and psychologists, again, I'm not one of those. I'm just a guy who talks to a lot of men one-on-one. We will all say the same thing. That's actually kind of a good thing. Because what we're doing is we're saying a lot of people that should have never been married in the first place are saying, I'm out. And you know what? That's fine. It's not for everybody. Long-term monogamy, that's what we're talking about. It's just you and I, and that's it forever and ever. It's not for everyone. And a lot of people try to shoehorn themselves into that world and try to make it work because, hey, it's just what you do. It's just what my mom and dad did. Yeah, sure, that was broken. And that's what grandma and grandpa did. And oh yeah, that was broken too. But it's just what you do. What else are you going to do? Stay single forever? No. So you get married, have kids, and then all hell breaks loose. And you're like, man, Just like what you pointed out, just like what mom and dad did. And so what you're talking about is what I tell a lot of guys. Wouldn't it be nice if one of us said, time out, we don't need to keep doing this dysfunction train. Let's just hop off the train and figure stuff out before we bring other humans into our life. What a novel concept that is, because it's not fair to them. It's not fair to you. And at the time when I'd met my ex-wife when I was in high school. So, I mean, what do I know? 17 years of age is when we met. So high school sweethearts. Yeah. So what do I know back then? It's probably at that time that I wish I did have a father, but he wasn't wired in a way to pull me aside and go, son, just want to let you know, there's some things going on here that I see, blah, blah, blah. This is your first real long-term girlfriend. It doesn't necessarily need to be forever and ever. And it's okay to date around and get to know other people. That doesn't make you a bad person. It just, that's how you grow and how you become a better relationship partner. So don't just throw all your eggs into this one basket. I see some dysfunction already, son. And just as a warning, now with that, I'm saying that out loud now that I'm saying it, like, what son would listen to that from his father, especially when you're madly in love with a girl and it's your first real girlfriend and everything else.
Right.
But that's what we all kind of wish we had way back then.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because I have a daughter. She's her second year of college and she's with the same boyfriend that she was with her junior in high school. So they've been together, 3 or 4 years or something like that. They were 16, 17, whatever. And I just said something like that the other day. And I was like, because I had a boyfriend in high school, my junior and senior year, and then into college. And then I realized my attention was going to like someone else. And I'm like, oh man, why isn't my feelings towards my boyfriend enough to keep me on this path and be like, no, I'm not interested in that, like open my eyes. And I was like, why am I interested in someone else? What's happening here? And I ended that relationship and I was trying to tell her about that. And I'm like, I ended it because it wasn't fair to him, and I needed to, it opened my eyes. I needed to date. I needed to date around. And I told her just the other day, I'm like, hey, it's okay to like, are you really going to be with someone? You don't even know what you like and what you don't like. And, and I got the eye roll and I don't know if anyone's going to listen to me, but
exactly.
Well, we need to hear that. Like, and it's okay. It's okay. And being someone who is divorced, I was married for 17 years and I was the one that ended the relationship and then get thrown back in the dating world. It's like, oh my God. And then you realize I was with him so young and got pregnant. I don't even know what I like. And I feel like I had to start that all over again. I'm like, let's learn what I like. Let's learn what I don't like. What is masculinity? And in the meantime, which we can dive into this, I was becoming more and more independent, because I had to get my own home and do all this stuff now. And now in some ways I'm mom and dad. And it just made me stronger and more independent, more of like a boss bitch. And then when I get into a relationship, what do you mean let you lead? I didn't know.
Let your guard down a little bit.
I didn't know how to fall into my feminine. I didn't trust anyone, or I didn't have good partners in the beginning to be like, oh, I can trust your masculinity to keep me safe and protect and do all the things. And that was a really big struggle for me.
You've just hit on something that we hear all the time from the women that are married to the guys in our group. I don't really feel safe to be open with you. I don't really feel safe to be maybe sexual with you or something like that. And a lot of men internalize that as, does she mean I'm going to physically hurt her? It's like, no, dude, what she's saying is you have a past of showing her if she shows any kind of negativity towards you, if she, God forbid, says, I'm not feeling it tonight. No, thank you, honey. Like you really internalize that and you really take it hard and it just ruins the next so many weeks. And she has this pouting, stomping man going around the house and he's pissed off. And she doesn't like that. And so you have, multiply that by 500 times. And she has learned, I can't be safe with my emotions and my very human, whatever it may be, fluctuations in my emotion and my feelings with this guy. He takes it too personally. He flies off the handle. Some guys, with their anger, they fly off the handle. Some guys really hold in all those feelings. And then weeks or months later, it blows up.
Yeah.
And sometimes it blows up in anger. Sometimes it turns into distance, hyper anxiety. Some men get weepy and shaky when they finally talk. And the wife's like, what the hell is this? And what she doesn't realize, that's months worth of holding it in.
Yeah.
And so when she sees it, she's like, okay, I can't trust this guy with anything. I don't feel safe around him. I can't be to use the terminology, more feminine around him. I have to put on my masculine suit. And that's why all these guys, not all of them, but it's why some of these guys are married to women that they say, it's like one of the guys. There's no polarity there.
And then women are expected to be like this sex kitten in bed and like, oh yes, dominate me, but they don't feel safe. They don't feel. You're not going to get in that headspace with a guy like that. No.
It takes a certain, and this is what a lot of women, it's so funny. You're talking about back in the dating realm. There's a lot of stigma online against women who go out in the dating market and rediscover their sexuality.
Yes.
And so they've been in like this ho-hum whatever marriage, and then they get divorced. And the now ex-husband is watching this woman lose all this weight, dress more feminine, and she seems to be much more sexualized than what she used to be. And he's like, where the hell was this woman all along?
Yeah.
It's like, well, for a lot of people, there's two things at play here. One is when she was in the confines of the relationship, that felt very stifled. She didn't feel safe to let it out. That's one aspect of it. But another aspect is we as human beings, when we're on the market, we kind of naturally know what to do to become the most attractive version of ourselves. We don't think about it, consciously, but we know it almost happens automatically. We lose the weight. We look younger. Men do the same thing, by the way. He sells the sensible little car and he gets himself a sports car, the Jeep or the truck, something to look more masculine. He gets the tattoo finally. He starts going to the gym. He gets on the testosterone. Women say the same thing. Where was this guy when I was married? So the key seems to be don't drop all of that, quote, shallow stuff that you did when you were in the must find a mate mode.
Yes.
Yeah. It's important that, yes, you bring comfort, stability, and everything. The analogy or the imagery I often use is like a front door, back door. We have all this eroticism, sexuality, and connectedness in the house. And then let's get married and have kids. And that all gets kind of shoved out the back door because we have to make room for safety, security, stability. And there goes the eroticism, sexuality, and everything else. It's always this dance of back and forth to keep it in there. What most people do is what I've seen is just throw out the eroticism, sexuality, and all that stuff out the back door, lock the door and forget about it. Yeah. And then the men are left going like, what the hell just happened? This woman, she and I, not to get too crass, used to do it 3 times a day. When we were first dating. And now it's, guys keep track, by the way. Now we're on average once, maybe twice a month if I'm lucky. By the way, some guys hearing that go, lucky bastard, try once every 6 months or once a year or whatever it may be, or years go by. It's very tricky for a lot of people to maintain that energy once in the confines of the marriage. I mean, there are books written on this. Esther Perel, Mating in Captivity is a big one. That's a big, if you haven't read that one yet.
I haven't.
That's a really big one. Perel is her last name. Esther Perel. And she sold bazillions of copies of that book. But that is all about that dynamic, that back and forth and trying to maintain that. It's not easy.
I want to go back for a split second because I know there's a lot of guys listening that can relate to when we were talking about when you mentioned getting turned down, for sex at night. And then they carry that and it hurts their feelings and they take it personal and then it builds up and then they, it could come out 2 weeks later. They have no idea it even started before. Why do you think that is? Like, really help me understand that so men can understand that of why they take that so personal and why it affects them so much, why it's such a rejection for them when she's like, no, for whatever reason that is.
Well, let's dissect this a different way. Let's look at it from a different angle, which is the men that aren't so affected by that. What is it about them that makes them more secure in the relationship so that being turned down on a Wednesday doesn't make him, pouty for the next 3 weeks?
Love it.
He has an innate sense of security with himself. He knows who he is. He's secure with the relationship. He knows that his wife can be gone for so many hours or days, whatever, and they're fine. He knows that wife can say, my stomach hurts, I'm not feeling it, and they're fine. If you are insecure and you have an innate sense of scarcity in a relationship, meaning this is probably as good as I can ever get, she and I have to make this work or otherwise I'm going to be alone forever. And I don't like myself very much. And much of my value comes from this relationship. Every time she says, no, dear, I don't think so, dear. Every time she refuses a hug or a kiss, whatever, it's just like chipping away at that statue or effigy that he's built in his mind for this relationship. And so the ultimate, combine that with, yes, men tend to, on average, have a higher libido than women do. So we have a very intense need, if you will, quote unquote, for that. All I have to look at is pornography and sex workers and everything else. It's like the evidence is there.
Right.
So he has that going on, always as kind of this burning feeling under the surface.
Yeah.
That's right. And then combined with the need for the affection, the need for some men stronger than others, the need for validation, the need for assurance. And it's just this perfect storm of need, if you will. And so when she turns it down once, it hurts. Twice, 3 times, it just gets to be too much. And he starts questioning everything. It's not good. And it points to insecurity. Now, a lot of guys push back when I get into the little spiel about that, about here's why I'm insecure. She's given me a lot of evidence to show that this marriage and this relationship's on shaky ground. She could leave at any moment. We've had fights. She's thrown out the divorce word. I caught her texting some other man or whatever it may be. Sure. But with all that being said, a guy who's very secure with himself and who he is says, she doesn't want to be in this relationship. I can't force her. If she wants to be gone and go live another life with another man she's texting, whatever, that sucks. But you know what? I'll be fine in the end.
Feeling sluggish from all the extra food, drinks, and celebrations? Kick off the new year with a science-backed reset. Quicksilver Scientific's Push Catch Liver Detox is a patented, simple 2-step system that supports your liver, gut, and whole body detoxification, helping clear out what's slowing you down so you feel energized for the year ahead. It's more than a cleanse. Quicksilver Scientific's Push Catch Liver Detox helps reset your system. Get 10% off and free shipping at tryqs.com/podcast. Again, that's tryqs.com/podcast for 10% off and free shipping. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Did you know Microsoft has officially ended support for Windows 10? Upgrade to Windows 11 with an LG Gram laptop. Voted PC Mag's Reader's Choice Top Laptop Brand for 2025. Thin and ultra lightweight, the LG Gram keeps you productive anywhere. And Windows 11 gives you access to free security updates and ongoing feature upgrades. Visit lgusa.com/iHeart for great seasonal savings on LG Gram laptops with Windows 11. PC Mag Reader's Choice used with permission. All rights reserved.
A lot of guys don't feel that at all, period. And a lot of it, like I said, goes back to the old childhood issues. A lot of them probably been very insecure little boys, and they brought that into adulthood. And that affects everything.
Hey, Bomb Life fam, I have a question for you. Are you the kind of person who crushes it at work, shows up for your family, checks off every to-do list, but when it comes to your fitness, your energy, and your confidence, it feels like something's missing? You might be doing the workouts, listening to all the right podcasts. I mean, you are listening to this one. But deep down, you know you're just kind of going through the motions and you're done playing small in this area of life. That's exactly why I created Fit Mind Coaching, my private one-on-one program for high-achieving women and men who are ready to level up. This isn't just another fitness plan. This is about building the body and the mindset to match the life you're working so damn hard for. Because success in business means nothing if you're hiding in hoodies, avoiding mirrors, or dragging through your day with zero energy, or showing up on Zoom meetings feeling good from the chest up, but praying no one ever sees what's going on below the screen. We're talking about fat loss, muscle building, and real confidence that bleeds into every area of your life, your boardroom, your bedroom, and your parenting. You want it all? Good. You should have it all. Let's go. Click the link in the show notes and book your free call with me today. Let's build the strongest, most confident version of you inside and out. You're ready for more, and I'm ready to show you how. Back to the show. I see that all the time in my clients, in males and females, all the time. And we work through it. And it's so funny because I'm in health and fitness and wellness and everything, but I'm like, you don't realize how much your sex and relationship and marriage and everything affects that journey too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I bring those connecting points together. That's what I do, because people are like, oh, just tell me what to eat. No, we're going to talk about my workouts today and everything. And I'm like, hey, how's scared little Jeff today? Let's talk about 8-year-old little Jeff. When did you start believing that? Because that's what's going to impact you and how much you bench tomorrow, or if you even show up for that chest and back workout, or if you really do the sit-ups and push-ups every night that I'm telling you to do.
And then also we see some guys that swing the pendulum all the way over here to very, I guess you could say, hypermasculinity, taking a lot of steroids, putting on 75 pounds of muscle, veins bulging everywhere. The guy looks like he's about to stroke at any point, and we all know this guy's at the gym. You show me a gym full of those guys, and I'll show you a gym full of guys with daddy issues.
Yes.
They're overcompensating for something, a lack of a father. They're trying to impress the world. And boy, those guys get pissed off when the rest of the world says, ew, I don't, that's a little much, dude. I like muscle on a guy, but not that much. You want to see some guys blow up. Oh my goodness. So we see some of the similar with a lot of women losing too much weight and getting too thin, looking emaciated. And you're just like, oh, men don't necessarily like that. We like women that have some shape to them. They also get irate. So it's just two sides of the same coin there. Just insecurity at baseline.
Yeah. Like moral of the story is like, do the work on yourself, And
by that, we mean up here.
Exactly. In your head, do the work and get healthy. And whether you're in a relationship or out of a relationship, but man, in the dating world, and I think it was just because I'm in fitness and health and stuff. And when I was on a dating app, I attracted a lot of fat men, and I'm not going to blame my energy. I'm not going to say it's because of my energy, but just like that man, and you're right. There is such an overcompensation for it, and that because I want to dive into like masculinity and femininity with you. And that masculinity was almost, it's scary because it was too hard. It was too much. There wasn't like enough understanding, and there wasn't enough softness there to make me feel safe. It actually scared me.
It's what I call my writing performative in nature.
Yeah.
When you dig past the performance, which doesn't take much because it's really shallow.
Right.
Underneath is what? Scared little boy, insecure man, hence why he's all roided out and everything else. that kind of performance always is a turnoff. And women are pretty good at seeing through that pretty quick, which is there was this whole underworld that came out like in the 80s and 90s called pickup artists. Are you familiar with this?
Mm-mm.
So these are guys that were basically nerds who had a very difficult time in interpersonal relationships and getting girls. So they sat back and watched guys who did get girls. And they're like, let's take pointers from these guys, plus some science, some evolutionary psychology, and some other things. And we will say and do things to get laid, basically. And when you converse with some of these guys or watch some of their videos online and stuff, it is the most cringeworthy because it's performative. And what you see is at baseline, a very insecure man saying and doing things. But in their defense, it works. They do get laid more. But then when you look at who it is that they attract, it's a lot of broken women to them who don't know any better, who are reacting to very insecure guy things. And they don't understand the performance. But if you run into a secure woman and you come up with this performance, so to speak, they see through it about 2 seconds. And they're just like, what is this? No.
And then they get very mad when you tell them no. Very mad.
Rejection sensitivity, which, by the way, there's a whole other angle of this we haven't talked about. There's a lot of men attracted to my material who are what we call neurodivergent, which means ADHD, autism spectrum, and so forth. They are especially rejection sensitive. They fall in love very, very fast. They hang on no matter what. And when they eventually get dumped, they take it very, very hard. So a lot of guys, if you're a lot of women listening to this and you're like, yeah, my husband's ADHD, this makes sense. Yeah, he experiences it a little bit harder than what everybody else does. A lot bit, actually.
Yeah. Interesting. I guess I wouldn't even have thought of that was like an attraction point for you too. And that side
because they'll have relationship problems. Mm-hmm. And I attract men with relationship problems. And I started noticing it's like the majority of guys are like, yeah, I was diagnosed ADHD when I was a kid. Yeah, I have a kid who's on the autism spectrum, which is usually pretty indicative of somebody in the immediate family also is neurodivergent. Yeah, we hear that all the time.
I want to keep talking about this masculinity because like one of your things you're very strong about is like, it's not toxic. And I want to make sure our listeners understand like the good part of it and how it's so necessary and how being passive is the problem, not being masculine. Because for me personally, like just as a woman and saying this, it is so sexy and so masculine that if I'm having a hard day and I'm whiny and just, this part of my cycle where it's like, it's coming, don't mess with me. I'm like emotional, I'm irrational. You just need to deal with me. And you can just understand that and you don't take it personal and you're understanding and you're compassionate. To me, that is so masculine. That is so just like, oh, you just like held me for those couple days while I just needed it. And now I'm back to normal. Thank you for dealing with me. But I've been with men that like, they can't handle that and they take it personal and like, what's wrong with you? And like, why are you treating me like this? And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm sorry. That's the real masculine.
When the ground is shaky under your feet, you need to know that there's somebody, preferably, dare we say a paternal figure almost. You don't want to go down that route. You're not looking for daddy necessarily, but you're looking for, I was going to use the term masculine, manly energy, the strong oak of a person that when everything is kind of shaky under my feet, I have somebody or someone to turn to say, is everything cool? Are we good? And even if this affects me in a way that I get snippy, I get a little bitchy, I get a little whatever, you're still going to be cool and centered, right? Yes. Now, here's the thing. A lot of men have taken on that message, but it can go too far. It can get to the point of being abusive, where I'm the strong oak of a man, even though my wife threw a plate at me the other day, even though she stabbed me here. I mean, I've had guys be like, see the scar here? That's where my wife stabbed me with a fork. I'm like, dude, that's not good. Well, and some men are like, she's Latina. You don't understand. It's like, no, I don't care what the culture is. That's not a positive thing. So is always this little delicate balancing game.
Yeah.
That paternal angle, let's explore that a little bit because there is a lot of, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Thought processes out there. How else to say this? A cultural narrative of egalitarianism above all else, meaning men and women, there's no difference between us. That's just how it is. And so when you start going down the road of what's masculinity and why it's positive, a lot of people go, time out. I don't like that talk because that's saying like what, men up here, women down here. No, it's saying difference. We bring our positives and negatives to the table and everything else. There's a polarity there. And I'm sorry if it kind of offends people, but that polarity has been there since, the beginning of time, beginning of human beings on this planet. It serves a purpose. These women bring their skills, men bring their skills. There's positive, negative. And we know when you look at psychologists and so forth, when we do studies of personality traits in men and women, I'll be darned. Women seem to be over here in this camp and men seem to be over here in this camp.
Imagine that.
And there are some things that aren't so nice. Let's start with the men so people don't think I'm piling on women. Men tend to be more prone to violence, be more aggressive. Duh, we've seen that, right? So the majority of murders are committed by men. The majority of rapes are committed by men. Sorry. But then we have some not so nice things over on the women's side too.
Right.
There's like infanticide, for example, the killing of infants. If that happens, it's like 99% of the time it's the woman doing it. And how weird is that? But it's just one of our awful quirks of human nature. There's also something called Munchausen by proxy syndrome, for example. Munchausen syndrome is I hurt myself in order to get attention on me. That seems to be more common in women. But then there's by proxy, which is I hurt others, usually my child, in order to get attention on me. So you have these women that are poisoning their kids and so forth. The kid goes to the hospital. So that is a predominantly woman thing. So we have a lot of, I'm just pointing out the extreme negatives on both ends.
Right.
But we also have some just personality traits. Women tend to be more empathetic, more open. But you also tend to be more agreeable. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to be seen as the bitch in the office.
Yep.
So when the creepy guy David at the office comes up behind you and massages your shoulders, you go, oh God. But you don't say, hey, David, if you do that again, I'll chop your hands off, because you don't want to be seen as the office bitch. You don't want people to be like, oh, we can't work with her. Oh my God.
Yep.
Men tend to be better at that. Mm-hmm. So none of us is to say women better, women worse, men worse. It's just we bring our own little, I guess, specialties to the table, if you will, our own little foibles and everything else. I'm all about embracing it, and that's fine. But there is some school of thought of, if you're telling me, Ralph, that I am the strong oak in the family and people depend on me to remain steady, that's a lot of pressure. And that means that I can't show weakness. I can't show vulnerability, because when I do, they're going to look at me and go, well, there goes the strong oak. I can't be that anymore. It's like, no, delicate balancing act as with everything.
Right. With your experience, like looking back now and just knowing what you know now about masculinity and how important it is, can you think about ways in your marriage then that you needed to show up differently?
Oh, absolutely.
More masculine. Like, can you share a little bit about that? Mm-hmm. Because I know our men are probably listening like, well, how could you have done it different? What did you do wrong? And like, now you know that like you should have been like doing this or.
Mm-hmm. It definitely, from a young age, I had probably an unhealthy amount of anxiety in my life as a stressed out kid. And where did that come from? Just meet my mom. You'll know. Sorry, Mom, but I was raised by an extremely neurotic person, and that rubbed off on me. And I brought that into my adulthood, and I was just known as Ralph's going to spaz out about stuff every now and then. I kept my cool, to be honest, through a lot of things. But if something kind of pushed me over the edge, I didn't handle it too well.
Okay.
And then I was also not the most assertive guy in the world. The common trope, which is this happens all the time. What do you want for dinner, chicken or fish? I don't care, whatever. Like even with that simple of a thing in life, I didn't have the wherewithal just to say, I want chicken. Damn it. Why? Because, well, what if my wife wants fish? I don't want to piss her off. That's a very anxious guy take on all this. So it's little moments like that. You stack up those little kind of moments, hundreds of them over the years. You eventually build the picture of, ew, this guy's just not the most attractive dude in the world. That's not good. Now, that doesn't by any means excuse what the ex-wife did and everything else, but it helps build a picture for kind of how we got there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. And looking back on my marriage, I can see where there were so many ways he didn't step up. And I can identify like with what you did or didn't do.
Well, people that are more anxiety prone, like I still am to some degree. We also have some fatigue in a relationship. It's just like, enough, please, with the drama and then this and that. You're making me feel very anxious. And sometimes we escape the situation, or sometimes we fight back and just stop. I don't know. You just pick the meal. Damn it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Right. And the woman's like, and the woman eventually she's like, I can't trust this guy with anything. But in his defense, he's saying like, my anxieties are through the roof with you and what you're bringing to the table. I'm not wired for that.
Yeah. I loved one of our talking points, like on your one sheet. I typically don't say what they say, but I love this on how it said, you're not broken. You're just missing the blueprint. Please dive into that for me. Well,
I happen to have a book here for people that are watching the video later. I just wrote this book and just came out, Rebuild, the Complete Guide to Starting Over as a Man. And that
like when? Like just came out when?
A month or so ago, month and a half, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So you can find out more, as I bump the microphone, you can find out more at readrebuild.com. So I have a domain just for that, jumps you to our webpage.
Okay.
But that talks all about that. We talk all about, I start with the foundational stuff, which is who are you and what's your identity? I actually just listened to one of your podcasts and you had a guest on talking exactly about this. This is everything. Yeah. So it all starts with this. It's if you just don't have a sense of identity in who you are and what you stand for and your values, you will just go, I talked on my one sheet, I think I have a thing on there about passivity is a toxic thing because you just go whichever way the wind blows.
Yeah.
Is fine, dear, whatever you say, dear. Friends want to go do this. I really don't feel like it. I don't feel good about that. Whatever. I'm in a room and somebody's making some off-color jokes that are very offensive and yada. I don't want to bring it up because I don't want to rock the boat. And so you just let everyone else dictate where you are and where you go. And then divorce, job loss, kids move out of the house, whatever it may be. And you're just like, there's no more wind here to direct me. I don't know where to go next. So you need some kind of blueprint, if you will, or a plan in place. And that's what that book is all about, is helping men build that blueprint or plan in place for rediscovering yourself and starting over from scratch and rebuilding yourself into whatever the hell you want to be. You don't have to let everybody else dictate everything for you all the time.
That's so cool. And I love how like that can apply to someone who's married, someone who's dating, divorced,
Absolutely.
like it doesn't matter. Everyone can start and rebuild that blueprint no matter where you're at. Like
Why not?
That was genius. And that's another reason, like, you know, we're two adults. How old are your kids now? Your kids are grown now.
I had a 22, 18. Is that right? Yeah. So going on 23, 22, 18, 14. And now I have remarried. I haven't mentioned that, but we have a 4-year-old.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm one of those
That's
guys.
amazing.
Yeah, with the adult and the little.
Totally fine. You're just like backing my point even more. Yes. Even more of like, it doesn't matter how old you are, what stage you're at, like you can rebuild that blueprint. Like you can start over, you can learn, you can grow from no matter what. And I get so many people that are like, I'm too old, or like, it's too late, or like, you know, this would be great. That'd be fine if we could just hit this goal. And I'm like, why not this goal? And they're like, well, I mean, is that realistic? Fuck yeah, it's realistic. Like, what are you talking about? And that's why I just love these kind of conversations, because like, no, you can. And now you have a book to read to support that.
But there are some, let's not make this like this Pollyannish, everything will be wonderful. All they have to do is say, I'm going to start now and everything will be great. Oh no. And one of the biggest negative aspects, if you will, of rebuilding and doing things the right ways, you're going to lose people.
Yeah.
You're going to have people that are like, I don't like this new you because I can't push you around anymore. The way the wind blows we were talking about, they're like, I used to be able to say, do this. And you'd say, yes, let's go. And now you're like saying no to me and I don't like it. And then eventually you hear that a few hundred times and you're like, I think I got to let this person go. Mm-hmm. And that's what anyone who has done any kind of massive life change will tell you. Yeah, you leave a lot of people in the dust, so to speak. A lot of people behind.
So many. And it kind of like goes with that saying, like it's lonely at the top. Like the more you grow and like rise up, you definitely lose a lot of people. And I mean, I don't even have a relationship with my own sister anymore. We haven't talked since I told her I was separating from my husband.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was years ago. And I'm like, and that's okay. That's okay, because I have regrown and rebuilt, and not everyone's going to like this new version of me. And I'm totally okay with that. Okay. So I have a really specific question for you for the women and men that are listening, because like all my clients listen and stuff. And I have a lot of women on this journey. Okay. And they're going to be like, honey, you need to listen to this episode. And probably even if you just fast forward to this part where Melissa talks about this. So I have a lot of women that are, for the first time, they're rediscovering their physical strength and their training. And then they're doing the mindset work, and, you know, they're seeing their worth, and they're showing up not just to like lose weight. They're showing up because they want to be, you know, the best version of themselves. And they're watching how they talk to their children and to themselves and their partner, and how they speak about themselves, like just all this overall transformation. And it takes a long time. And many of these women, they have a husband that hasn't got on board yet.
I knew where this was going. Yes, I hear this all the time. Mm-hmm.
And it's starting to become a problem. And one thing that I want to make sure that they don't shrink. And a lot of women will stop, and a lot of women get stuck and they don't know why they stopped. They're like, I don't know why I fell off track. Like, I don't know why I stopped going to the gym. And I see, because I've been doing this for so long now, I see a lot of women that they start changing, and then he's not okay with that. And then he gets insecure and he's like, well, you're going to leave me in the dust. You know, I'm not working out, and they could, but she's getting better and he's not. And so women will shrink, and they'll be like, and it's back here. It's like way back here subconsciously. They don't even realize it, but they're like, oh my God, well, I don't want to make him feel bad. I don't want him to feel like I'm leaving him behind, or I'm going to have an affair or whatever. And they slowly stop becoming that goddess that they were becoming. You know, and I see that. So let loose, like chime in, because I know you probably got like a lot to say.
This is in my book, The Dead Bedroom Fix. I've devoted a chapter just to this phenomenon. which is not limited to women doing the change and the men reacting. The men see the same thing. So in fact, dare I say, maybe even more so, we have a lot of women that go into the shame tactics of who are you trying to impress? Why are you suddenly dressing different and losing a ton of weight? What's going on here? I'm a mother of 3 or 4 kids. I can't compete with you in the looks department, Mr. Six-Pack Abs, all of a sudden. And you're injecting your testosterone and you're looking like a He-Man. And here I am. And my body it's very difficult for me to bounce back. I work full time and take care of the kids. This is not fair.
1,000%.
And often the men say, yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. And they go right back to Mr. Schlubby husband. And what's hilarious, though, is I talked about how these guys are scorekeepers. How was the physical intimacy when you started getting in shape and changing and more confident? Oh, it is what we went from this many to this many, a dramatic increase in physical intimacy. And now that you've gone back to the old you, we're back to the old us again. Yep. So that uncomfortability, that anxiety that is produced by your sudden change comes with some positives: increased intimacy, better whatever it may be, more attention from other women. That's a real thing. That's what a lot of women will say too. But it also comes with the negativity of turning off your loved ones, scaring them, causing them to feel insecure. Now, back to your situation where it's the woman. We know, for example, and again, not to throw women under the bus, but something like bariatric surgery, stomach stapling, lap bands and all that. We know the divorce rate is pretty high after those kind of procedures.
Oh, isn't that crazy?
It's nuts. Now, here's the thing that makes women go, oh boy, here he goes. When we look at the stats, you can look it up yourself. If it's the woman who's gone through the surgery and lost a tremendous amount of weight, or if it's the man, divorce is twice as likely to happen if it's the woman that goes through the transformation. We also know that women file 70% of the divorces out there.
Yeah.
So what does that say? I don't know. I'm not here to say that women aren't wired for marriage, long-term monogamy. They're just looking for the first avenue of escape and they take it. But all I can tell you is that one of the most common stories I hear is my wife got into tip-top shape. She became a fitness model looking gal. I did not join her because I don't like that kind of stuff, the guy says. And goodbye, wife. That is a very, very common thing. And the men internalize it as saying, as soon as she was able to get a better one, she did, and she left me in the dust. To which I say to guys, let's just throw all the BS aside. If you see that your woman is going down a new path, you better drop everything you're doing and join her. I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings. I'm sorry if this is shallow and stupid. And I'm sorry if you don't like that kind of stuff. I had one guy that really got on me. I always bring him up because it tickled me so much. I am an Ivy League professor. I will leave out what college or university is professor of. It's a big one. And I read your book and I threw it down in disgust, basically, is what he said, when I read a chapter on physical fitness. Because being a He-Man, getting in shape, makes no difference. It shouldn't matter anyway, blah, blah, blah. This is shallow, misogynistic nonsense. So there's a stigma out there with physical fitness is shallow and you shouldn't do it. And I'm here to tell you guys, it makes a difference. But what confuses us, Melissa, is that we have plenty of women telling us to our faces, it makes no difference. I don't care if you're fat or if you're a rippled Adonis. I don't care. And no woman cares. This is stupid. Just stop going to the gym. Mm-hmm. And I tell men, just smile and say, that's great, but I'm not necessarily doing this for your approval, wife. I'm doing this to get in better shape, to look better and to feel better about myself. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm going to go do it anyway.
Right.
It shows a level of security, independence. You're not going to go whichever way the wind blows, as we talk about. So same thing with the wives out there. Just because your hubby says, who are you getting all hot and sexy for? And I know you're screwing everybody in the gym. And she's like, I'm not. I'm doing this for me. Join me. You want to join me? They say I can bring you as a free whatever to the class. You can come with me. No, you've had your chance. Now, it's not just that women are going out there and looking for the replacement. It's that they're in a whole new world with a whole new group of people with a whole new mindset. And they're all there to do better. And they're all cheering each other on and fist bumping each other. And they're all talking about your macros and your supplements and the hormone replacement. It's just a whole new way of looking at life, whole new perspective. And yeah, you can get left behind pretty quick. So I tell guys, suck it up, put your ego aside and join her. There's shallowness to the mating game that we don't like to talk about, but that's one of them.
Yeah. Well, and when you take a person that is moving their body physically every day, contracting their muscles, like actually squeezing and contracting, we know that actually releases antidepressants in our brain.
It's a whole new perspective on life, everything. Right? You feel better, you sleep better.
Everything. So if that person is changing chemically, physically, everything, and you're not doing the same things to get the chemical reaction, you're not going to think the same.
You're not in sync with each other. Mm-hmm.
At all. And it's so important to be in sync on that level. So I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad that you're just like, do it. Because that's the truth. It really is. And, I'm sure that you get hate for some of your content all the time. I know I do. Like people are not pleased with me a lot, which is fine. I'm not going to sit here and be one of the influencers out there that's like, just do this booty exercise and just do this. I'm like, there is so much that goes into this journey. And I got to believe it's the same for you, that like, there is so much that goes into being, a masculine, high performing, loving man. It's not just, oh, well, I'm married. I provide a roof. You got dinner on the table, right?
Mm-hmm. And dare I say, not to belittle your profession in any way, shape, or form, but for a lot of men that I talk to, the getting in physical shape part of it is the quote easy part, because they literally lift weights up and down, count their macros, yada, yada. 6 months later, holy shit, look at me. I look amazing.
Yes.
But they're still the same insecure little boy inside. And they're still looking for attention. And their perimenopausal wife is just like, I'm tired. Just leave me be. I'm sorry. And he's like, perhaps you haven't seen my abs. What the hell? It's like, dude, there's more to it than this, It's not just so much that. But what doesn't help is that, he's getting attention from ladies now outside of the relationship. And he's getting that validation from others. And he's filling his coffers, if you will, with all that other attention. That's not good for the old marriage.
No.
And those very insecure men, they cheat. I talk to them, and that's not uncommon.
I know. And I don't know how to word this, but the women that aren't getting the love and attention and feeling safe, they cheat.
Oh, yeah.
They'll go find it somewhere else. You're not providing it for me and giving it to me. They'll seek it somewhere else.
These, I got my phone next to me here. These dumb phones make it way easier than ever to connect with other human beings at a very intimate level. Yeah. And emotional affairs don't stay emotional very long. They usually escalate pretty quickly, as a lot of us learn.
Yeah, very quickly. Oh my God, Ralph, I have so many more questions for you. I feel like I could talk to you forever. We could just keep going.
We'll do a part 2 sometime.
We should. We definitely should. So you're married now?
Yes.
Have a 4-year-old. How long have you been married?
You put me on the spot. How many years has it been now? We're now, is it 8 years now, I think?
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm.
So quite a while. Good for you.
Yeah.
So there's hope. You can remarry and be happy. Okay.
There you go. But guys, it ain't easy. It's not like you just read a book and suddenly you're just like, I'm just going to find Mrs. Right. Yeah. Here's the thing. What if you don't find her, or Mr. Right for that matter?
Right.
You'll be fine. You're okay. And it's ironically, when you really embrace that mindset of, I'll be fine as a single person, I'm cool. That's when you're more apt to find Mr. or Mrs. Right. When you're Mr. or Miss, I'm so anxious. I need to find them. I got to get married. I'm turning 40. I can't be an old shrew alone. It's like, you're not going to find the right dude. You're just going to find another insecure person. And you know the drill.
You're going to attract that. Yeah, that's all that. It's so crazy you're saying that, because my therapist had said the exact same thing when I was dating. I'm like, but what if it doesn't work? And what? And she's like, and you're going to be okay. She's like, you survived leaving a marriage. Like, you rebuilt your life. Like, you've proven to yourself that you are going to be okay. And I'm like, oh my God, I am going to be okay, whether I'm with or without someone. And that's, it's a beautiful place to be. And I want everyone to be able to feel and experience that. Ralph, where can people find you? How can they follow you, get in touch with you? We'll put everything in the show notes, but I want to make sure that you get a chance to say it all too.
Helpformen.com is our main website. In fact, we have a special page set up for your listeners, if I remember right. Helpformen.com/bomblife, I believe is what we set up there.
All right.
Helpformen. And so we have it for men only. Sorry, ladies. We have some offers in there for men only.
That's okay.
As far as membership to our group and chat with me and a free course about dead bedroom stuff. So check that out. But helpformen.com, articles, videos, courses, our community, links to all my books are on there. And then I still put out content under the name of Dad Starting Over on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. So a lot of people know me from the bald head. I've had some videos that get into the millions. So I have some people go, are you the guy? It's like, yeah, that's me.
Yes, I am.
Some people, the bald head helps out with it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's my trademark, I guess.
I love it. Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, we'll list everything in the show notes. So if you guys are driving or can't, write anything down, it will all be there for you. Ralph, we definitely have to connect again.
Absolutely.
And keep this conversation going. You were just like a true blessing to the show. Like, I can't thank you enough for coming on and having this conversation. Yeah.
Thank you.
This was great. But let's connect again. You guys go to the show notes, check it out, listen to this episode, men and women. This is for everyone, but pass it on too. I want everyone to like take this and be like, hey, you need to listen to this. You should listen to this episode. Friends, family, everyone, male and female. So thank you again for coming on, Ralph. This is great.
Thank you, Melissa. I loved it. Thank you.
Everyone, stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time. The Bottom Life podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The content shared here is not intended as medical, legal, or professional advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any health, fitness, financial, or legal decisions. The opinions shared on this podcast are personal experiences and insight. So if you need expert guidance, go find the right professional for you. Thanks for listening.
Did you know Microsoft has officially ended support for Windows 10? Upgrade to Windows 11 with an LG Gram laptop. Voted PC Mag's Reader's Choice Top Laptop Brand for 2025. Thin and ultra lightweight, the LG Gram keeps you productive anywhere. And Windows 11 gives you access to free security updates and ongoing feature upgrades. Visit lgusa.com/iHeart for great seasonal savings on LG Gram laptops with Windows 11. PC Mag Reader's Choice used with permission. All rights reserved.